quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 118. My name is Lars, Casteen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you here for another week of enjoying the company of friends and playing the terrifying adventure about a ghost that wants to kill you. I hope you're strapped in and ready for this one because it's going to be great. My name is Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. I'm joined today, as always, by Robin Lange.
Good that time.
Zoe Chernicoff.
Good that time.
David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good that time, everybody.
And our Matt Humphreys.
Good that time, y'all. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. We are today, before we jump into our show, we're continuing our lead up to the Spice-a-thon that's going to happen in episode 120. We're going to ring in October by talking about pumpkin spice things. But in the meantime, we're going to continue talking about other foods just to whet the appetite. A little bit of an amuse-bouche to tickle your ears as well as your mouth, right? Good.
Wait, is it what?
Years.
Amuse-bouche is, yeah. Okay.
That's like
okay,
a funny.
yeah.
That's like the funny mouth, right? And we're gonna do.
We're doing funny ears
We're
tonight.
gonna do funny mouth to your ears.
What
yeah.
the French call a certain, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny mouth.
So here's the question, everybody, and I'd like to get your input in this. The question is, if you could try any food that you have not eaten at any point in your life, what would you try?
I'll throw one out there.
Okay.
Wagyu beef.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
Like, I'm very curious what it actually tastes like, but I am very unlikely to buy it because it's so darn expensive.
Yeah.
And as a result, it has a little bit of that forbidden fruit thing where, like, well, this is probably not going to be something I actually do. So curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah.
And also, I subscribe to the steak subreddit, so I end up seeing a lot of pictures of steak.
Do you
And then I
really?
think about steak a lot.
Well, now I have a
Steak
new thing I have to go do.
Subreddit. I gotta send that to my brother.
Yeah.
He routinely sends me pictures of the steaks he cooks. I'm like, cool, dude. I don't eat meat.
Oh my gosh, he's got to get on it. I should tell you the name just so he has an easier time finding it. It's r/steak. And it is mostly
straightforward, simple. I like it.
Yeah, it's mostly people posting pictures of steak that they've cooked, and then other people commenting that looks really good.
That's what the internet needs more of, though, man, right? Like, how great is that? It's just a bunch of people being happy about something.
Oh my God, this looks so good.
All right. So Wagyu beef. Very good. Sounds delicious. I'd love to try that too. Anybody else wanna go next? A food item that you haven't tried that you would like to try?
I actually had to look up uncommon foods once you asked this question.
Sure.
It would be, how do you pronounce this? Is it gooey duck or geoduck? It's spelled like geoduck, but I feel like that's
Geoduck
not
from
how you...
Pokemon? You want to eat a Pokemon?
It's a giant clam that looks kind of obscene. I think it's pronounced like goyduck.
Goyduck?
Okay. You got my
But
attention.
it's
I don't
spelled
know
like
what's happening.
geoduck.
I'm looking this thing up. This looks Interesting.
Oh.
That's something I'd like to try.
That's a big old ding dong.
This is one of those rare items that looks like both male genitalia and female genitalia at the same time.
Totally. I had that
Wow.
exact thought as I looked it up, David.
Amazing.
And then the other one is corn smut.
Smut.
Corn smut. There's the actual name is like
I'm sorry.
Mila
I
Coche or
Googled
something.
geoduck, and what I'm looking at is corn smut. That's what this is.
So funguses and clams. That's what I like.
So corn.
Cloudberries is another one I want to try.
Okay,
Like
come.
fresh
You are being
cloudberries.
greedy. You're bringing up
I'm
3
sorry.
things.
I'm sorry.
And they're all come from Pokemon.
Hilariously, this website I'm on says it's gooey duck.
Yeah, that's what I.
Gooey
Yeah, that's
duck.
what I thought it was. I said geoduck just so you can find the spelling, but yeah, I think it's gooey duck. Yeah, which is a really weird.
It's a thing.
I
It is
like
weird.
it.
I like it. Anybody else have
Got it.
anything?
I have 2 things,
Okay.
which doesn't seem as greedy now. I don't know that I have ever had a meal where someone has had like a full truffle and shaved it on something. I've had like what people claim is
Oh.
truffle infused stuff, and I'm a big umami person. But I feel like there's all these things that's all fake and like the truffle oil is not real. I would love to have like a pasta meal with just like as much fresh shaved truffle as I could handle, which I think would be a lot, but I don't know. Maybe not. I've never had
It's
it. Maybe
real. It is different
I'd wimp out.
when it's fresh shaved.
My second thing which is where my head went when you first asked this, Lars, is I have not been able to eat gluten for 13 years now. So I had it as a kid.
Mhm.
And the thing that I miss most, so I've had this, but it's like in this life, I can't have it. And the gluten-free version, there aren't very many of them and they're shit, is Indian naan bread. People cannot get it together to make a good, because it's like so gooey and doughy. I would
Mhm.
love to just be able to sit down and eat a piece of naan bread. It's a great food.
Get it. It's
a great
really
food.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why once a year at midwinter, Zoe does. And then spends 24 hours vomiting.
And then it's so sad.
No, that doesn't really happen. We just give her a couple of cloudberries and everything's fine.
So, yeah.
David never believes the things I say. You're like my husband.
Well, your answer to this question was gooey duck, corn smut, and cloudberries. That actually sounds like a random word generator.
Those definitely sound like RPG
Yeah.
foods, like
I would love to eat a tuft
Oh.
of Phoenix Down, please.
yeah.
I'm just blown away that those are all real and
Everyone.
you knew what they were. And it's just
Armat, what would you eat? Save us.
Robin has lost it.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
I should have joined me, Robin.
Yeah.
I feel like these are the things my husband says to me on a near daily basis. What you've just said, he's going to
Yeah.
feel so justified.
Sure.
Right.
Have him text me. I don't know.
You're going to forget about this and it's going to be like late September and Chris is going to text and you're going to be like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
Totally. Yeah.
All right, Armat, what you got?
So I had 2 thoughts as well. One, I think I'd like to try baked Alaska. I've read about it
Oh.
in many, books. Usually like cozy mysteries where they're like at a dinner party and the baked Alaska comes out and then, Mr. Body keels over and they all have to gather in the study in order to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
A cozy time.
A nice early
just,
20th century dessert to go with the early 20th century crime is what
Murder.
it sounds like.
And then the other I thought was fugu, the poison
Mm.
blowfish.
Mhm.
Ooh.
If I could be guaranteed that I would not be harmed by it, I'd be on that in a second.
Yeah,
to try
I think
it.
that's allowable for this hypothetical. I think that's I'm right there with you.
It appears that the internet tells me somewhere between 1 in 20 and 1 in 100 people die each year from failed fugu situations.
That's a really wide range.
I like my chances.
I want it to be the 1 in 100 year that I'm trying it, not the 1 in 20 year.
Yeah.
Also, a fun thing that I just remembered.
Uh-huh.
The toxin is called tetrodotoxin.
The
That
Pokemon.
fugu produce. Exactly. Yes.
And scene. We're done here tonight. It's unreal.
But I read somewhere that basically that is the toxin they put in zombie powder. So when people think that they've been turned into a zombie, it's because they've been paralyzed, buried, like left in the ground and then
I'm
dug
sorry, I
back
have
up.
some
What are you
questions.
talking about?
I know
For
exactly
real,
what he's
this
talking
is
about.
real. I swear to God.
Of course,
What is
Robin knows what he's talking
zombie
about, but for the rest of us,
That's the whole theory behind
What?
zombies. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's
the tradition of zombies.
I read a book about it. I feel like actually crazily enough,
I
like
got to stop writing books. It's too much.
yeah, they've
Zombie powder.
so imagine if you'd never heard of zombie powder, and then someone said the phrase to you, zombie powder.
Right.
How would you feel?
No, we do have to, for the listener, we do have to tell people what zombie powder is. What is the quickest way we can describe this so that people don't lose their minds? Please.
And we'll pick it up from there next
Oh
time.
my gosh.
So basically, my understanding is that in Haitian voodoo,
Oh,
vodun
okay. Got it.
preparations,
Got
I think a mambo or bokor, you poison someone gradually with this.
Got
I
it.
think and then you
So you go a little at a time and they kind of start to feel more and more out of it.
exactly, and then eventually they appear to be dead, and so they're buried. They go through this whole experience, and so it's like it's basically they gaslight you into thinking you have died and now you are a zombie, and like it.
Okay, well, then I'm going to change my answer for the food I want to try because this sounds too good.
With zombie powder?
Just kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like the same powder though that's referenced in Romeo and Juliet, where Juliet like seems to be dead.
That
Or
Sorry,
Juliet
Lars.
seems to be stumbling around like a half-dead creature
Yeah.
looking to suck brains.
You know
What
what?
soft, what light through yonder window brains.
Okay. I'm going to answer this question. I have the most
it is
basic.
the east.
Oh my God.
and Juliet the sun.
I have the most basic answer for this question before we move on to our game, and that is that movie Jiro Dreams of Sushi. I just want to eat that guy's sushi.
Oh,
They made a
I'm
whole
in.
movie about it.
Yeah.
I just want
that.
to see what that sushi is like.
Yeah,
I just want to
but
eat
that
it.
sushi's great.
It looks good.
Finally,
Movie's
something
delicious.
we've all heard of.
I also want to eat a Geodude or whatever it was. I want to eat all that stuff. Okay, great. Well, thank you for that, everybody. That was great. Let's move on to thank people for reviews. We got this review just recently on Apple Podcasts from Greg2613. Thank you to everybody who leaves reviews for us. It is incredibly helpful. It is still the best way that you can support our show. It is still the way that we reach people that we wouldn't be reaching otherwise. So we are still deeply appreciative of every single review. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Greg says, this podcast kept my attention for 99 episodes of commutes, dishwashing, exercising, grass mowing, and house cleaning. And they await episode 100 with bated breath. So this came in a while ago, but I think that's something that maybe we forget about sometimes, that like people are listening to us as they're doing real stuff. And it's kind of fun to think about like which dish did that zombie powder conversation accompany you for as you were washing it.
We're helping people get shit done.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because that time can be so many times.
That's right.
Good that time.
Good that time. So thank you, Greg, for leaving that review. And with that, let's get into it. Let's play our game. You've taken your first steps into the 7th floor of the Abomination vaults, finding the oppressive confines of an underground prison. The tall stone hallways here are awash with red light emanating from glowing sigils, and the heavy stone doors open with a burst of fire and the smell of brimstone. After dispatching a pair of fear-hungry will-o'-the-wisps outside of a small square cell, you're now confronted by that chamber's resident, a tiefling woman on the verge of death who has used one of her final breaths to ask you for help. So you find this woman at the back of this 10 by 10 foot cell as, I think it's Ao, pushes the door open. Again, burst of fires, pff, and a kind of a pop, an audible pop. And this woman, this tiefling woman, she has the horns of a devil. And this is a kind of creature that you are almost certainly all familiar with. Well, you're definitely familiar with because Rin Savinxi is half tiefling, half elf. But this woman is gasping for breath, and she says, "Water! Water!" So what do you do?
Ao reaches in her bandolier and pulls out a flask of water and hands it to the woman. Ao looking sort of like Isthan.
Yes, Ao, a half-elven, sort of Isthan-ish Ao. She's not able to take the water. She reaches for the water. It sort of passes through her hand and falls to the stone floor with a thud that echoes around the room. And it seems as though this woman is in need of much more immediate care than just some water.
Can Ao do a quick medical scan to try and understand what's going on with her?
Absolutely. Well, I think you don't even need to do a
Lars.
medical scan. Yes, go ahead.
When you say it passes through her hand, you mean like the flask physically passes through her
She's
hand?
too weak to hold on to the
She's
flask.
too weak to hold
Gotcha.
on. Okay, cool. Got
Yeah.
it. I thought there was like magical.
Not that something crazy is going on with her hands as well, on account
Yeah.
of all the hand stuff.
I
you know?
was about to ask if I needed to use Haunt Lore.
Yes.
I know. I thought it was like a Sisyphean like punishment, like or who's the guy who's in the
Tantalus.
the river?
Tantalus.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that in that it is life. So, kind of. But
Fair
no,
enough.
so Ao can look her over. You don't need to do a medical scan. You can see that she's in need of immediate medical assistance. And if you'd like to do a medicine check to help her, absolutely, please go ahead.
Sure. Should I do treat wounds?
You can do a treat wounds. All I'm looking for is a medicine check, though. Treat wounds will give me a medicine check, but we're sort of just looking for a check to see what it is like to help her recover.
It's a 23.
Okay. The DC was 23.
Whew.
And what that means is that Ao
Love
is
to
able to
see it.
spend a few minutes tending to this woman. You tend to her wounds. You have like a salve that you apply to her. You gradually feed her little bits of water, maybe a little
So
bit
much
of
gauze.
food.
She
Just-
herself comes to look like a zombie rat. I guess that's a mummy.
Yes. Well, yes.
She looks better.
She looks a lot better, but she's drinking this water hungrily. Like she has not eaten, she has not drunk any water for quite some time. And after a few minutes, she seems to catch her breath. And I should make it clear also that a DC 23 medicine check, like this is pretty impressive work that Ao is doing here. Like, this is not something that just any old person would be able to do. And after a few minutes, she seems better physically, but she kind of starts staring off into the corner of the room, and she says, "Thank you for saving me. I'll be on my way." And she gets up to push past you and leave the room.
Oh, whoa. I don't know if you're ready for that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're headed and maybe we can help you?
And she looks down. She sort of like protects her face from yours. Maybe she subtly sort of manipulates her hair so that it hangs in front of her face, and she says, "No, I'm fine. Thank you. And you get a sense that there's a little bit of unfriendliness in her voice as she brushes off Ao's advances. But if anybody would like to set about spending a little more time, a little more energy on making her more friendly with you, please let me know.
Well, I was going to ask actually if Trill could detect any magic in what was keeping her in here.
So you don't detect any magic. You do find that there was a pretty loosely attached manacle as Trill looks around the room. Part of Ao's physical recuperation of this person would have involved the trivial task of slipping this manacle off of her. But looking around the room, Trill doesn't detect any magic, but Trill does look around the room and gets the sense that this prison cell has fallen into horrible disrepair, and it doesn't really seem as though there were previous residents for quite some time in this room before this woman was there. So, yes.
Yeah, so I think then after Trill realizes this, she would, as Ao's trying to get this woman to stay, Trill would kind of come in and
Start asking, well, no, but just wait a minute. We can help you. This it's pretty scary out there, honestly. I mean, how long have you been in this room?
And she continues pushing past you. It doesn't seem like she's going to be interested in talking to you until somebody tries to warm her up a little bit, making an impression in some way.
And, Ao sort of sidles either up to the door to, like, in a friendly way, block her way, or if she's already out the door, kind of shimmy up next to her. That last thing you ate, I mean, you know what that is, right? It's a Crook's Nick Schnook. You can't just get those anywhere. They're from the town up there. And she's like just sort of trying to engage her in some kind of distracting chatter.
Yeah, and that works for a second. If you're looking for a sign of recognition in the Crook's Nook Snook name, there isn't one from her. That doesn't seem to be something she's aware of, but she says, "Oh, again, thank you. I appreciate you saving me. I have to move on though." And she's blocked by Ao, and she's too weak to fight you, but you get the sense that she is adopting a tactic of stonewalling you.
Oh, we know about moving on. Oh, Isthin, go ahead.
Then maybe Isthin would nudge either Ao or Trill and be like, could you play something to try and maybe use your performance skills to try and captivate her? Or perhaps, Ao, you have some sort of a lie that could entice her. I think we just don't want to let her go this easy.
So Isthin says that, and Trill on her lute starts picking out a tune that she's heard in Rin's before, recognizing that they're both tieflings, wondering if maybe hoping that what she's playing, 'cause she hadn't heard it anywhere else, is a tiefling tune.
Okay. So Trill is going to use her versatile performance to try to make an impression, it sounds like you're saying you want to do.
And
Yeah.
Ao, knowing this tune from having been in Rin's shop, is going to use her diplomacy to assist if
Great.
she can.
I think that sounds good. So let's get that aid first from Ao, please.
The 25.
All right, that's a success. So Ao is able to successfully ease the way of this song that Trill is playing.
She's humming in the back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's a 25.
Okay. 25 plus 1 equals 26. And that is going to do it.
Nice.
Whew.
So you see this song wash over her for a moment. And she smiles for a moment. A smile crosses her face. And she looks up at Ao and Trill. And she says, "You know, it's funny that food and water can only do so much to heal you, but a song like that can do so much. Thank you." And she looks up at you, and like a brief sort of look of intelligence and cunning flashes across her face, which you were not able to see before while she was shielding something of herself from you. And she pauses for a second and she says, What are you doing here? I appreciate you helping me, but what on earth would you be doing in this kind of place?
We're just passing through like you on to figure out what's going on here. There seems to be a lot of things, but most of them untoward. Did someone lock you in here? Were they a part of it?
She says, my good half-elf friend, there's no passing through a place like this. Was I locked in? Absolutely. Those wisps were tormenting me. It's
Wisps are terrible.
that's That's absolutely right. They come here and they feed me, not the wisps, but the jailers. They feed me sometimes, and they hang me by my feet sometimes. And when they leave, when the devils leave, the wisps torment me. So I guess you found me at an opportune time.
So the devils locked you in here?
Oh, yeah. And she relaxes and leans against the wall for a second. I was hired to do a job for a devil by the name of Euravian.
Did you sign a contract?
She said, well, and she trails off for a second. While she's trailing off and while you're looking at her, anybody who wants to see if they have any sense of who this person is, would you give me a society check, please?
The person or Euravian?
Not Euravian, this person. We'll backfill Euravian in just a second, but let's get the society check to see if anybody knows anything about this person.
Blind or not blind?
Not blind, that's fine.
19 for me on a society check.
20 from Iston.
Okay. Neither Ao nor Iston get a sense that they have much of an idea of who this person is. And she says, yeah, I was hired by Euravian. Do you guys, the players here on this game, recognize that name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Euravian, yeah.
Corlock, the bearded devil, told us about him. He looked up to him, right?
Didn't both devils, like big devils, talk about Euravian as like the big boss?
He's such a cool guy.
He's like middle management for devils.
Bro. Euravian crushes it, bro.
Yeah, you know about Euravian from Corlock, and you heard about him from Stragaz, the other bearded devil, that Euravian is a devil who worked for or was in contract to Belcora a long, long time ago. And then he had set up some kind of a shop here on the material plane. So she responds to the question, did you sign a contract? And she says, well, of course I did. I tend to do contract work. I'm the sort of person who can find the sorts of people who want people to be want to find.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
It's like
but-
we found these kobolds in town and we're helping them build this bakery. And like we didn't do a contract thing there. It's more of an MLM, but like we have these trill cakes. Are you helping Euravian with his shop? Ao's going for sort of an ambling friendly tone to see if she can get more out of this good cop in the interrogation, as it were.
Yeah, and she's warming up to you. She's like, yeah, I think it's a little different maybe from that, but
Like how? I mean, like think of a way. Oh, here's a trill cake. Try one. And a little
She-
cake
she
shaped like
eats a
trill
trill
hands
cake.
to her.
and she's like, and you're telling me you get paid when other people sell these?
That's right. It's yeah. You've been doing it all wrong.
Those devil contracts, though, those are nasty devils. They really stick to them.
Oh, that's
A lot of details.
That's true, but it seemed like a pretty easy job. Euravian wanted me to capture this guy, and, I didn't get the feeling that I was the first to take the job. It seemed like probably somebody else had tried it, but I figured I've never missed yet, so why would I miss now? Just because a client is scary, it doesn't mean that the job is hard.
Who did he want you to capture?
Oh, it's a gentleman actually from around here by the name of Carmen Rajani.
What?
Fascinating.
Wait. That is... Mag doesn't say any of this. She thinks it. That's not what I was expecting at all.
No, not at all. Carmen or Johnny
Failed mayoral candidate Carmen Rajani.
of the Nosef Mosef Osef fame.
Osif.
He had a tattoo that said Nosef Osef on. But this guy, I don't think this guy was much of a mayor candidate. When I ran into him, he was drunk off his gourd, and the shadiest bar in the shadiest side of the shadiest street of Absalom. This guy is...
How long ago was this?
Oh, time is a little tough to keep track of when you're in this kind of situation, but, probably about 2-3 weeks ago?
Is this signifying to anybody else? Because I've got no fucking clue what's going on here.
We'll catch you up in a minute.
Nang nang bonobo.
Right.
Ao says.
Whispers Mag.
Good afternoon to you too.
We'll let you know later. But yes, he's very significant.
Right.
Oh, that's surprising.
So
To me,
you-
it just seemed like a violent old drunk.
That too.
So you saw him. Did you didn't capture him? You didn't take anything from him?
Well, I captured him for a while. I guess maybe you're telling me he was some kind of politician. Maybe that explains part of it. I caught up with this guy. I asked around, found where he was. Apparently, had just been placing bets, shaking people down, just drinking the bar all the way down for at least a few days, for a couple weeks maybe. You know, I had a plan to get him onto a boat, sober him up, and then ride him out of town and get the bounty properly. But once I got him on the boat and tried to get him in these shackles, somehow I wound up in the shackles and the boat wound up with a leak in it as he swam for shore. So I managed to get back to shore eventually, but by that time my contract with Euravian had ran out. So look around. Poof! Smell of brimstone. Devil standing next to me. Poof! I'm back here. And then I'm in jail.
What's your name, friend? I'm Iston. This is Mag. This is Trail. And Eo.
Hey, that's a strange name for a half-elf.
Oh, he meant Hapla. Hapla. My name is Hapla.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
totally normal name for a half-elf.
She's my little sister, you know.
We're still processing it.
It's something we're gonna have to work through at some point.
And she looks like she trusts you at this point, and she freely offers her name. She says, "My name is Sanemi."
It's a namey.
Weird.
Oh, that's
We
a
never
lovely
learn
name.
people's names when we're talking to them. It's so nice to have a proper noun.
It could be that maybe you just never ask people what their names are.
Yeah. I've done some contract work myself. Basic snatch and grab kind of job.
Well, maybe you'd do better taking on this contract from Euravian than I did.
I mean, that sounds.
She'll kind of mutters under her breath.
That sounds far too clever for Carmen.
That's what I thought. One thing I learned about him just as I was getting these manacles clamped on my ankles and I was being hung upside down for the first time is that guy is maybe not the most trustworthy person I've ever met. And trust me, I've met my share of untrustworthy people.
It's like bottom 25%?
Bottom 25%, and she looks at you meaningfully, of the bottom 25%.
Oh, and Ao does some simple calculations on her palm and nods knowingly.
That is low, yeah.
Trill kind of pulls a little bit back because Mag's usually towards the edge of the group, being the tallest, I figure. And Trill kind of tugs Mag a bit to bring Mag closer, to whisper to her,
Why do you think a devil would be interested in Carmen Rajani? I mean, didn't we just... he seemed like he wasn't going to be getting up into any trouble when we sent him off to Absalom. What do you think, Mag?
I think he seemed like a man with little left to live for. And that kind of a man is susceptible to almost anything. I wouldn't have imagined we'd hear of him again And certainly not inside this place. It's making me question our choice to offer him redemption.
Timeline check.
Yeah.
About how long ago in Galarian time was it that we gave Carmen the sword and let him go free?
That was just over a month ago.
Okay,
this
so
was
like a
since
month and a half,
then.
like
So
not
he's
quite a
come
month and a
back.
half
Yeah, you took that month of downtime after
after him. Yeah.
after him. So if he told you, which he did, that he was going to Nidal, it seems as though that plan.
Yeah, so
hit a
he was maybe
snag.
only in Absalom for like 2 weeks, it sounds like, before
Or if he ever
the
went,
devils
right?
wanted to pick him up.
I mean, he may not have gone.
Well, he definitely didn't go to Nidal. Because it sounds like he set up shop in
Absalom.
a tavern in Absalom.
Huh.
Did Euravian say anything about the Rose Guard, that he might be part of an heir to the Rose Guard? Did that come up?
She looks at you and she says, "Those better be some incredible roses those people are guarding for how bad Euravian wanted this guy." It's clear she has no idea what you're talking about.
Did Gravian say what he had done that made him want you to get this guy?
I can
Or is it
tell
like a
from
no
this conversation
questions?
that you've never done work as a bounty hunter. You don't ask a lot of questions like this.
You're right. I have not. I am more of a bounty performer.
Yeah.
And she
That's right.
whistles and she says, "You're not kidding. That was beautiful. That song was beautiful."
Oh, thank you. Was that a song you had heard before? Was that song from growing up?
I had.
Jill like tries to get a whole side conversation about the music now.
That song is the one that encouraged me to get into bounty hunting.
That's it. That was the one.
Yeah.
Everyone has that song.
I, Zoe, am working on a theory where this Euravian fellow is tied in with Belcora or Belcora's legacy and is trying to like lock down all the Rose Guard or their heirs, right? So like they took down Otari and kept him in the dungeon. This would be Valverjani's heir that they're going after. Menhimiz and Doriana, like maybe the Motley
Yes!
Man is part of that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're just like sending off all these synapses firing in my brain as you said that, Zoe.
Robin
Yeah.
is freaking out right
Freaking
now.
out. It's like she's had a gooey
Yeah.
duck.
Like, it's a real gooey duck scenario.
Yeah.
So gooey.
So then who else would that leave? Rajani,
Zarmavdian, who we
who's
still
been
don't know
missing.
where he went.
Who's like gone
Right.
into the woods, right? Who they're
And
probably
then-
looking for.
I guess, did Otari Elvashti have any descendants? Or is Otari...
Well, I think they killed
Otari's
him in
now
the
Well, they
passed,
just had his
right?
spirit locked in here.
Yeah, you're not aware of any descendants of Otari.
Or Zarmavdian could be in on it, right? We have that like inkling that maybe he's traitorous and
Right.
Right, because he was the one who cast the fireball that killed Otari, or presumably.
Yes.
Supposedly did, yeah.
That hastened Otari's demise.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is like, I don't think, obviously she doesn't know anything to allow us to corroborate that, but it seems like there must be some tie to looking for Rose Guard members or their families and like, you know, destroying them mentally or physically.
She tries to help. She's like, "Euravian never said anything to me about any other job, but the way that these devils do these contracts, why would he? He hired me to do something. I signed a contract. I didn't make good on the contract, and now here I am. It's actually usually pretty simple with these with guys like this.
What are you going to do now? I mean, how do you get out of here?
I don't know. How do I get out of here?
Well, we just came up some steps right over there. There's a lovely tavern. Well, not so lovely. I mean, this Sugathi there was trying to control our minds, and there was this process, which is actually sort of anathema to... anyways, we could... She sort of looks around. We could show you the way out, but... Is that what you want?
She's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Are you kidding me? I thought I was going to die in here. You know, sometimes crime does pay."
How much were you going to get paid?
How much was I going to get paid?
Yeah, it's time for me to ask for a small detail you don't have at your fingers,
Yeah,
and for you
she's
to make
like,
something up.
well, we negotiated for some time, and the amount that we ultimately decided on for payment was, 500 gold pieces.
Wow.
Pretty good deal for an old drunk in a tavern. Or so I thought.
Yeah.
Is the contract still open?
She shakes her head. I don't think so. I didn't do the job. They locked me in prison. Now I'm not locked in prison anymore. That seems like that's kind of that.
No. I meant, do you think he'd still pay out 500 gold if we found this fella?
I don't know. If he hasn't managed to get this guy yet, I imagine he'd probably be even more desperate than he was when he hired me. He'd probably get a lot better than 500 gold. I'm not going to try it because he's a real big gentleman. I'm pretty sure he could just, kill me if he wanted to. Contract or no.
You don't want to walk with us through these hallways and find him and renegotiate a price for all of us?
No thanks.
Had to try. I think Ao's trying to get a read on everyone if people have an appetite for, showing this woman out, or if we should just bring her to the stairs and wish her luck.
Why don't we take her to the stairs and give her a solid diagram or something of how to make it out?
Is there anything we could hire her for?
We hire a bounty hunter.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that weird?
Go get Magloy's recipe. We can't figure out how to make...
I guess we're sort of a bounty hunter.
Hoot? We have her hunt down Hoot?
So wait.
The devil did want him.
The devil himself is going to sacrifice him at midnight, right?
I'll give you 15 gold pieces to go find John Messman's wolf.
So we can befriend it.
So we can re-befriend it. So is our current working theory that somebody has hired this devil who is subcontracting out. Somebody wants the devil to find
a Belcora henchman directly.
Yeah, exactly. So Belcora has contracted this super cool devil to track down all of the descendants of the Rose Guard, and he then subcontracted this part of the job out. Go find Carmen Rajani to this person that we're speaking to now, and that the ultimate motive of all that is revenge? I guess she also had the weird thing where their artifact, if you brought all their artifacts, that unlocked one. So I don't know if there's some specific magic. She's just mad that they tried to kill her in the first place, or is there something more mechanical afoot?
There's one thing that I want to clarify about that.
Yeah.
It was not her mechanism that made it so that you had to retrieve the various icons of the Rose Guard. That was the collected ghosts of all of her enemies barred the way until they were given proof in the form of these icons of the Rose Guard that Belcora had fallen. So that particular obstacle was not a discrete move by Belcora. I don't know if that's relevant to this conversation. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Belcora did not set something up that was present these things. It's the ghosts of her enemies demanded that of you.
Mm.
I don't think we know exactly what's afoot, but I feel like the Rose Guard is part of it, right? I don't think we have an exact... The blood of one and the fingernail of another shall create
No, I mean, no, but,
It's quite an intriguing situation these adventurers have stumbled into. Whatever could it mean? I've read the book, I know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to do a dumb bit, too. Let's move on.
As they're walking towards the stairs, Ao sort of asks this woman, do you know someone in town? Are you going to have somewhere to go?
In town? I'm sorry, what town is there?
Oh, there's Otari. I mean, there's Crow's Cast. That's where the bakery is. I mean, if you want more of those trill cakes and the snooks are from there.
Oh, by the gods, I'm by Otari? Oh, the sticks? Jesus, that's like a day's walk. Jesus, she says. She apparently worships Jesus. By Abadar, she says. She says, no, I'm just going to go back to Absalom. I don't have much business around a place like this.
Oh, where are you from in Absalom?
She says, oh, I'm from the, I'm from, I
Sounds so
ran an
silly.
entire campaign in Absalom, and I can't remember a single
What's your
neighborhood
street
in Absalom. Are you kidding me? Like, I spent 3 years running that thing, and I can't remember a single neighborhood.
Which postal route are you on?
Oh my God. She says,
Which
well,
exit?
I spend a lot of time down in the docks, so that's probably where I'm going to be.
Well, if you need anything on the way, maybe stop by Rin's.
No, that's okay.
Oh, yeah, she's
Thanks.
very helpful.
Okay.
She offers sort of cryptic wisdom that doesn't get you anywhere. Anyway, she's great. She's my bestie.
Oh, she like does like star readings or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
She's
know.
who gave me my astrology lore. I use it all the time. Let me see your palm.
I'm so sorry that you have astrology lore. What a waste of time.
What a waste of time. Yeah, says Hapla. So we're just gonna draw her a diagram and send her on her way.
Yeah.
She says, thank you so much for freeing me. I truly don't know what I did to deserve luck like this. Thank you.
If we ever need a bounty hunter, is there an address where we can reach you?
Sure,
You have a
can find me
website,
at,
a URL?
Yeah, I'm at askjeeves.com.
Oh,
It's my name is Sinami Jeeves.
that's a name.
So if you need to ask me to do any crimes for you, you can just go
Ayo
right
pulls
there.
out Haplo's journal and writes in Sinami Jeeves, askjeeves.com.
That's the web. That's it. Exactly. HTTPS :
All right.
/ Goodbye.
Wh-
And she walks up the stairs.
Ayo sort of shrugs, trundles back down the hallway. Well, what's next?
You know, speaking of Ask Jeeves, I very randomly got served on YouTube the other day this like compilation of old TV ads for search engines from like
Could you imagine?
the first web, whatever 1.0.
Yeah.
And I remembered so many of them.
Yeah, they are burned into your head. You're talking about like a web crawler, a Lycos, an Alta Vista.
Lycos was
Oh my God,
was a
Alta
dog
Vista.
that went and fetched things for you. Does this ring any bells
It
for
was
anybody?
eventually. I feel like that was
Yeah.
that was like a branding that they hit after a while.
I don't think this was like 1991 or something, but I
yeah.
think it was like 1997 maybe or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just blown away by how many of these
Hotbot.
I was like, oh my gosh, I
I
remember
like
that ad,
Excite.com.
Excite, Lycos, Alta Vista.
I think I used Hotbot occasionally. Jeeves was always my favorite, though. I just
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed the charm of Jeeves.
Yeah, this guy looks so good. He's wearing a suit or whatever, a tuxedo.
Very
Amazing.
dignified. Yeah.
So you are here in the kind of like back hallway of this prison. As you hear the footsteps of Sinami, much better for wear given the medical attention and the food and water that you shared with her, disappearing up into the floors upstairs as she follows the map that you've drawn for her. You're standing here in this hallway. It's a 10-foot wide hallway. In addition to the cell that you found Sinami in, it looks like there's a door to another cell to the north, and then a larger kind of like portcullis sort of security gate to the east. What do you guys think you want to do? What are you thinking about?
Next door.
Yeah, pop their cell open and then
Got-
go
Gotta
to the
keep it.
portcullis.
What's the term, Ao?
Widdershins?
No, you never want to go Widdershins.
Well, it's clockwise.
Oh, I guess, yeah, we would be going Widdershins because we're not going clockwise when we do the
No.
next one.
Yeah,
Never
also known
are.
as Deosil, because I looked it up.
Whoa. Okay.
Ask Jeeves.
.com.
Okay, so you approach this northern cell door. What are you doing? You see another sort of like a window that you can look in, a blackened glass window. This one not so marred by soot as the one that you found Tsunami in. And if you press your face to the window leading into this room, it's empty. You see dust covering the room. There are cobwebs. It seems as though this room is not used. You don't get the impression that anybody has gone into this room for quite some time. And the door itself is unlocked and swings freely as you try it.
Trill starts looking for secrets.
Yeah, Trill
Okay.
scans the room for secrets and is perhaps unsurprised that this prison cell does not have any extra exits going out of it.
That might impact its use.
There's a poster of Rita Hayworth that you find, and there's a hole.
There, I was going to say, is there anything behind that poster?
Half a mile of the worst smelling.
There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the thing that you notice about the cell, the thing that stands out to you, is similar to what stood out to you about Tsunami's cell. Tsunami's cell looks like it had not been used for some time until she was in there. This cell is in even worse shape, and cobwebs string across the entire room. This seems to be a non-active part of this prison.
Trill shrugs and walks out.
Leo follows.
Should we try the next door?
On
I
to
think
it.
we should.
Okay, so this next door is a portcullis, which is raised. There are metal points crusted with dried blood. Again, looking ancient, not looking as though this is a particularly frequently used prison cell. But you're able to pass through that portcullis and see a set of now double doors at the end of this next 10-foot wide hallway. These double doors, again, covered with glowing red sigils, the smell of brimstone catching your noses every once in a while.
Did I already make a recall knowledge check about these sigils to see if I could read them?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an Arcana check if you'd like to.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you. Blind?
No need.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the information no matter what you roll, so just go ahead.
The
Perfect.
kind of roll we
To know.
want.
22.
This is what I call a fun times roll. Yeah, these are various diabolical sigils. This is it's clear that this area is under the control of a group of devils, and that they have, just like you saw Zoslerin do in his bedroom on the second floor of the Abomination vaults, they have outfitted this area to remind them of hell. So there's not any specific message written in these sigils, but it's kind of consistent with what you've learned. Again, Zoslerin's room, we mentioned that. Also, Corlock, when you spoke to him, mentioned that like doing this work abroad, out of hell, was difficult, undesirable. Devils don't want to be here. Devils do not like being on the material plane. And it strikes Isthan with this 22 Arcana check that it seems likely that all of these magical runes and so on are meant to turn this into something more of a home away from home.
Got it. Well, no rest for the wicked. Should we press on?
Yeah.
Also weird.
So as you're continuing to explore, what are you guys doing? What sort of exploration activities are we talking about here?
I think Ao's looking for traps and searching for whatever's around.
It sounded like Trill was also searching for stuff. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Trill's doing her usual thing.
Okay.
Mag will be investigating until it's time to open a door, and anytime we open a door, she switches to scouting.
Okay, and investigating, you mean like searching around for hidden things?
Yeah. Looking for clues.
Cool.
It's
It
then
was
I'll
to the
be
mystery.
searching too.
Okay, so all of you are kind of in searching mode. Then you hit the door, and Mag starts scouting, and then you revert to searching as you get the door open. So the four of you push open this double door and find yourselves looking into a wide octagonal chamber. This room is like a pyramid. It's an octagonal pyramid, and it reaches a point at the top. There are 4 exits. The one that you came through, and then 3 more leading off in each of the cardinal directions. So you came in from the west. There are also doors leading north, south, and east. There is a bright, blood red light shining down from the top of this pyramid, and it is forming a perfect red circle on the floor in the middle of the room. Mag, investigating this light, taking a look at this light, searching around this light, gets the impression that there's something strange about it. It seems noteworthy to her.
I'll say.
I guess with the rest of your perception checks, you're all just like, I don't know. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Oh,
Shocking, because to me, Trill would immediately... There's something about... Because AO is always obsessed with the blue light, but there's something about this red light and connection to... and we're on the floor with devils and trying to figure out the Motley Man. I feel like Trill would immediately start walking towards this light.
And I think Mag's perception check
Curious
maybe
about what's going on about it.
would this is the kind of thing that Mag gets the impression this is maybe not a great thing to touch.
yeah. Mag holds out an arm to like slow Trill or and says, "Steady. I think we should identify more of what this is from a distance before we try identifying it up close."
But it feels powerful.
Is it magic?
Is it magic?
Can Istin detect magic?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Is it
yes.
magic?
Yeah,
I was
AO
trying to
goes-
detect magic.
AO
So-
has turned back into herself, by the way.
Okay, AO.
Yeah.
That's good.
So anybody who
Shining light.
detects magic does not detect any magic of any note. Although I should tell you that detect magic as a spell does not detect magical traps. So you would know that. So this is an inconclusive reading.
Control recall knowledge?
Yeah, give me a blind, whatever your best magic stat is. Your blind occultism.
Can Istin jump in on that too? with
Absolutely.
Arcana.
Absolutely. The two of you start pacing around the room trying to identify what this thing is. Trill is left with the impression that this is going to be perfectly safe to walk through. Istin...
Is left with the impression?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, no.
Istin, though, doesn't agree. Istin believes that this is some kind of alarm system, and that if somebody were to step directly into the light, something would happen.
Does AO feel called at all by this light? Is there some way she can do a check on whether it's, she's on high alert about lights in this building, right?
Right, and Ao has so far felt called by the light that is like the negative energy from Nimbleoth, right? This is one, it's light coming from up, shining down.
Right.
And I think the knowledge that this is some kind of a trap, I think that my guess is that Ao would not bite on this.
Okay. She can't. She has no bite attack.
That's right. That's right. But Istin, as he's investigating this light, gets the sense that some sort of alarm, and also feels his mind occasionally get foggy as he investigates it.
No, this is a safe light. Safe light repairs.
So we got two different opinions about this: a safe light or a not safe light.
Team not safe.
Yeah. I don't feel not safe.
Trill keeps slowly moving closer to the light. She really thinks it's safe.
Someone's got to touch the light.
Yeah.
Trill,
So Mag reaches out and with one finger, she's holding on to the back of Trill's overalls.
Overalls.
And Trill's like, She's kind of trying to
Jumper?
trundle forward,
Romper?
but she's just treadmill. Yeah, she's treadmilling in place as Mag holds on to the back of
I'm
her
seeing
romper.
some like Chuck Jones animation going on here.
Yes.
Totally. So the four of you are squeezed into this octagonal room surrounding this 10 by 10 foot circle of light, but nobody has gone into it.
Would it make sense for someone to, I guess no, because you guys don't want to touch it. So I was thinking, could someone like with survival throw something into the light?
Right, or I was just thinking mage hand, but I feel like that's gonna set it off too.
I think if it's just an alarm, we don't necessarily need to disarm it. We can
How
just walk
high-
around it, you know.
How high off the ground is the light?
It's the top of this pyramidal room, so about 20 feet up in the air.
I say we just go around it. I don't feel like we're looking for trouble here, right? I can't think of any reason why.
Oh, come on. You guys don't want to step into the trap light, please?
Trill really wants to.
Trill wants to. Why are you guys shutting down?
We're no
We're
buddy.
nobody.
Times that
Yeah.
Ayo got away with shit.
Well, that's because I just do it. If you want to do it, you got to just do it. You know.
Mag puts Trill in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
All right, we got 60
How
seconds.
many minutes
go,
of
go.
air
Which
do
door?
I have, Lars?
Up here. It's clockwise. So
Yeah,
Ayo runs
so
to
so
the
there
north
are
door.
doors leading off to the north, east, and south, and Ao moves up to the door to the north is what Zoe's saying.
Mag, open it, and then we gotta let Trill out.
Mag opens it while removing Trill from the
Ayo
bag.
listens very quickly, as Mag is opening it to see if she
Yeah.
can hear anything.
Ao starts scouting, doesn't hear anything on the other side of this door. But as you push the door open, you again hear that pop this flare of brimstone. So again, you get the impression that opening one of these doors stealthily is not something you're going to be able to do without a little bit of work.
Hmm.
But as you open this door, you find yourself looking the light from this red lighted room, the light from Mag's Wayfinder, and also the ambient red glow of the sigils on the walls reveal to you a 20, 25 foot hallway ending at another set of double doors.
Shall we go on and check the other doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to sneak, I think I need to try and do something on the next ones. Ayo whispers as they're creeping along.
Yeah, and Ao looking at those doors and thinking about the sigils as you're creeping along, you get the sense that if you wanted to open one of these doors silently, that would require, silencing the diabolic power within these sigils with a
Astrology lore?
with a religion check.
Okay. So it's not something that can be physically manipulated.
No, and Mag takes a look at the door as well, trying to figure out, is there some mechanical apparatus to manipulate? There isn't. It's just that the energy of these devils that have turned this area into something resembling hell needs to be quelled.
Right.
Trill could do a religion check.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a religion check if you want to try to open this next set of doors in front of you silently.
Blind or regular?
I don't regular. You'll know if it works when the door makes noise or doesn't.
That's a 21.
Okay.
As they do that, Istin's gonna just muse to himself. You know, there was this one wizard I knew who had doors like this in his tower, and basically it was totally smooth and you couldn't tell that there was a door until you successfully combined certain levers and planks,
Repeat
and
that,
you had to
Justin.
do a written.
Mac, would he
Anyway, the
fit
point
in
was
there?
it was hard to find the bathroom.
And as Trill is sort of contending with this flood of information that doesn't seem applicable to this specific scenario, she gets the impression that her training in religion is enough, period. Like she knows enough about religion to get this door open silently, and
Like
she
she has
does so.
assurance in religion, only
It's almost like she has assurance in religion, yeah. Anybody who's trained in religion can open one of these doors and silence the sigils.
Sweet.
Nice.
Must be nice.
The reason I took it.
These doors right here.
And you find yourselves now in a large, 15-foot wide hallway, colonnaded, arcaded ceiling up above you. And there's a lot going on here in this room. For one, you see the hallway stretches off to the east, and you see a circular chamber, looking like that circular hallway that you have been tracking the entire way down from the lighthouse down to the bottom here. This looks as though it is the next step there. But the hallway that you look down, you see it open up into that circular chamber, and then it continues onwards for some distance even beyond that. There are doors all over the place that you can see, some in front of you, some off in the distance on that hallway as it extends past the circular staircase room. But the main thing that you notice is to your immediate left, as you open the door and step into this next hallway, are huge red doors, emblazoned with an enormous glowing pentagram, like 12 feet tall, 12 feet wide.
Are there other sigils on the door in addition to the pentagram?
Absolutely. It's covered with all kinds of devil shit. Like, this is the most deviled up door you ever saw.
Trill wants to investigate this door.
Okay.
Can Istin join her and see if there are any arcane sigils on there that he knows?
It's mostly religious symbols. I think that these are blatant enough. These are obvious enough, and your knowledge of the arcane is complete enough that you do. And also, sorry, this door is unsubtle. This is a door that you look at it, the two of you press your faces up to it, and it's pretty clear immediately what's happening here.
Just a quick question, as Trill's investigating stuff down here, because she's using religion, I imagine, mainly.
Yeah.
Can she get her boost from her staff of necromancy? Or I guess that's only for necromancy magic, because this probably isn't necromancy.
Yes, that doesn't seem relevant here. Trill holds up the staff of necromancy to the door, and there's no reaction. The staff doesn't react. The door doesn't react. But she, tracing the staff around the door, the staff catches on something, and there is a circular sort of crevice, like a hollowed out, like an indentation in the door. It's about the size of a human hand. And in that big indentation, there are 5 deeper, sort of finger-sized alcoves. And Trill immediately is able to tell, as she presses her face up to this missing part of the door, that something like an amulet would fit into this indentation.
And let's check the bag of holding.
I don't think we have anything that looks like this yet.
Well, we had that 4 key, but if it's 5 spots...
This looks like a hand, though. It's like a hand that's clawing in, it sounds
doesn't
like.
really look like a hand. It's like a circular orb kind of thing with 5 sharp indentations in it. It's the size of a hand, but it is a polished sort of amulet-looking medallion thing carved out of the door.
I could be wrong, but I think this might be a portal to hell.
I mean, they've got to get back and forth from there somehow.
Right?
That would make sense. So maybe we leave this door alone for right now?
Well, let's try it.
Thanks, Istin.
So Istin pushes against the door, and rarely has Istin, in his life, pushed against an object that moves less than this one does.
It must be some sort of diabolic magic, because I can't move it at all. And I mean at all.
Is there anything in Infernal that Trill can read?
I think it's a great question, and I think that there is definitely infernal writing around this, and everything that you read indicates to you that this door is 1, locked, 2 remain locked, 3, openable only with a great magical artifact that has been split into 5 pieces. But it's written in pretentious devil writing.
Well, of course. Trill's been studying Infernal for a while, waiting for this floor.
A cool S there.
It's extremely cool S. Like, this is totally like dumb guys trying to write smart all over this door. It's written in very flowery language, very intimidating, very like serious language. But the long and the short of it is, if you want to get through this door, you got to find the key, basically.
I want to find that key.
I know. I want to go through there. What do you think's on the other side? Do you think it's hell? Do you think it's better than hell? Or is it worse than hell? Maybe it's not hell at all.
What if it's heaven?
I mean,
It'd be confusing, right?
that's exactly how they trick you, right? You know, they make you think, oh, I'm going to open this door to hell. It's going to be great. And then on the other side, you're like, oh, no, heaven. But my values are so aligned with evil. I don't enjoy this. And that's how they get you.
We should ask the next devil that we find which door the other devil would say.
So as Istin's ranting
Bravo.
on, Trill just kind of starts wandering around this huge space continuously. She starts heading towards the circular room, knowing that they're not going to make any headway with this door.
So Trill gets to the circular room. Is anybody else following her? Or are you just
Yeah,
gonna sort of let
Max-
her just go off and do
Trill's
her
the
own
agent of
thing?
chaos now.
No, Max. I guess does Max still have her on the leash? That's the other question. No, Max.
Oh my gosh, my mother I used to walk around on a leash with my mother when I was
you were a
like
leash kid.
just walking. I was
Oh,
a leash
really?
kid because I was
Were you a
I
runner?
was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So as you approach this central chamber, AO1 notices something, maybe out of the corner of her eye. She looks at this big brass metal panel on the floor. And every once in a while, maybe it's her imagination, she thinks she sees a glimmer of that blue light that she had seen previously. Other things that you notice in this room are that the stairs leading up move up as you would expect into that chamber above you where you fought the Sugathi and the Grothlid. But the stairs leading down are packed tight with rubble. Your way completely blocked. And as you investigate this room, you hear a sound coming from the hallway far to the north.
Oh no.
And it reverberates, just like sounds of multiple moaning creatures echoing down the hallway. As you turn to the north, you see a bearded devil wearing a strange, glowing red bracelet. As you look a little bit closer, you see that those moaning sounds are 6 grothlets. You know, these slug-like, tortured humanoid figures. And they've all been put into vaguely military-looking sashes going down from their right shoulder down to their left hip. This bearded devil turns, sees you, and raises this bracelet up in the air, and it flashes red, and all 6 of the grothlets turn in perfect unison as though commanded by the bracelet. And the bearded devil shouts out,
All right, you rats. Let's see what you can do.
As they turn towards you and start oozing across the room, and we will pick up from there next time.
Like a Beyonce concert from hell.
I'm so excited.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.